Hey, what's going on everybody? It's Wilhelm Scream and welcome back to the channel for more Destiny 2 news and intel. And today's video is going to be a bit of community outreach in that all the topics that we're going to talk about are things that I've seen mentioned in my comment section in previous videos. Sometimes people have asked about these things multiple times over years of actual playing. So obviously there is some information that is just not readily available for both returning and new players, but more specifically solo players. So in this video, I'm going to cover 3 farms. One for power as well as high tier armor. One for endgame materials, focusing on Ascendant shards, but that'll also get you everything else. And the other focusing on exotic class items. Now, exotic class items are a thing unto themselves, so that's where we're going to start. How to farm exotic class items. Well, there are ways you can farm them as a solo player. However, there will be a timetable in which you have to do this. Now, there is a glitch that you can use once you've acquired exotic class items in order to get a whole lot more, and I'll cover that in a second. But the primary thing you need to know about exotic class items is you have to either have done the dual destiny mission, which does require at least one other teammate. You can't do it solo. I wish Bungie would change that. There's a chance that the dual destiny mission might end up in the portal eventually. Or you had to unlock them during Festival of the Lost. Now, Festival of the Lost is actually sooner rather than further away at the current moment, as Festival of the Lost is the fall seasonal event. And last year, and Bungie has said they're going to do this again, exotic class items were available. Now, what do I mean by unlocking exotic class items? Exotic class items can actually be acquired from many different sources. As you saw, right now you can actually buy exotic class items from XUR'S in the tower. If you are watching this on a day where there is no XUR'S in the tower, you can do the method and farm glitch that you see right here, which still works, which simply requires you loading into the landing in the Pale Heart. Pale Heart is still there, everybody. Anybody forgot about it, it's still there. Go through the path that you saw me use. Simply head over to the left underneath this fountain by this, I guess you would call it, flower bed, and wait for a white light to be triggered. Now, once the white light is triggered, that means that a spawn on a chest just over the hill here and around the corner a bit has just come in. And once you've unlocked exotic class items, of course, you can get them from any source in the Pale Heart. That is any chest, including the chest that just spawn in randomly. Or you can wait for XUR'S. But back to unlocking exotic class items. So as I said, you have to either do the dual destiny mission or you have to unlock them through Festival of the Lost. Now, unlock means that you just have gotten one to drop from an actual source other than the chests first. So, dual destiny will unlock an exotic class item as it rewards you one guaranteed at the completion of a dual destiny mission. Now, last year, and again, it'll be carried through to this year, the Festival of the Lost also had exotic class items available to buy with materials from the event, and that was for anybody. You didn't have to do the dual destiny mission first. And once you bought them, then you could go to all the other sources, like XUR'S or that chest I was just showing you, and acquire more rolls on them. I think XUR'S is probably the best way to farm exotic class items once you've unlocked them. So I wanted to give everybody a little bit of an update on that because I see a lot of questions about it. I'm sure a lot of people know that the dual destiny mission is the way to do it as far as at the current moment, but I don't think a lot of new players, well, new players might not know that either, but even returning players don't remember or know about the Festival of the Lost, and that being the next area that you could, or the next source that you can use in order to unlock exotic class items. So I just wanted to do a little rebuffer on information on that. Again, this is all based on questions that I see a lot in my comments, and people are always asking me these same questions, and sometimes in the case of exotic class items, for over a year. And I don't blame anybody for that, because there is things in this game that are not intuitive at all. And the fact that the only source in order to unlock exotic class items, which are also going to be getting a big change later on this year, but during the current expansion, that they just don't have a way to get their hands on them without having to do the dual destiny and have a teammate. Now, there are many ways in order to get a teammate to do dual destiny. It's still in the Fireteam Finder, but I just wanted to give a recap of that. If you don't want to do dual destiny, at least in a month or so, because we're getting very close to the time Festival of the Lost will actually be around, you'll be able to get them again. So if you can wait another month and a half, 2 months, there'll certainly be a lot of Destiny stuff going on between now and then. And who knows, maybe in Ash and Iron, that particular event will have the ability to unlock items like this. I'm sure that they're going to do more things with different events and having the ability to unlock certain rewards like exotic class items in the future. I know that they have said that. So hopefully maybe we'll see either the dual destiny mission added to the portal or more events where exotic class items can be unlocked. But at the moment, just wait another 2 months if you've waited this long, and you'll be able to get them. Now, the other thing that I see a lot of questions about are both power, high-tier loot, as well as endgame materials. Now, there are several endgame materials, of course, but I think Ascendant Shards are the ones that people are probably running out of now most of all, because if you're getting to higher-tier armor, this is obviously for people who are new to the game, but maybe people who've been playing a little bit longer or have been really grinding out this season. There's, of course, all the Tier 5 armor that will have a high cost to upgrading it. So you're probably getting close to running out of Ascendant Shards, or if not, finding yourself a little bit low. You can, of course, also buy some of these materials from XUR, but it's a high cost if you think that strange coins are difficult to come by. I personally don't, and this farm will give you a lot of strange coins, but I'm not everybody, and certain people still don't know how to get their hands on a lot of strange coins quickly. But doing activities like the Whisper mission, which is what I'm doing here, will, of course, award you a lot of strange coins, and it will award you Ascendant Shards, as well as those endgame materials. And I mentioned the Whisper in a previous video, talking about a Retrograde day to farm. It was, I believe, a few days ago that weapon, which is a very popular weapon, super PvE at the moment, and a lot of people were sort of disillusioned with the idea of even trying to farm it because it was only available through the Whisper mission. And I was surprised by that, because I actually think amongst all the Pinnacle missions, the Whisper is the most viable farm by far, for a few reasons. One, I've been running it forever, since it was originally released, and it was originally just an exotic mission, so able to be done potentially solo almost at its release, and a lot of people did do it solo, even in the very first week that it was released. Now, that was a long time ago, but the Whisper mission really hasn't radically changed that much. If anything, it's just gotten a little bit easier. So amongst Pinnacles, I think for a solo player, or just somebody who wants to do a really good endgame material farm, this is the best option. Now, you're going to get a whole bunch of stuff, depending on what level grade you actually decide to use for this farm. But the number one thing that I heard also when people were saying that they didn't want to attempt doing this was the jumping. Now, as you can see in this video, and I would encourage everybody to go back and watch again, there are a few tricks that I use in order to avoid parts of the jumping puzzle that are bothersome. Most notably, there are things that can either knock you off, or there's places you can get stuck in. I know that one tunnel where there's all the stuff either coming out of the ceiling or to the wall to the right, and it's slanted. I'm talking about the diamond-shaped little tunnel that you have to run through before you get to the much longer gap where there's the cannons that will shoot you off on the little platforms that you have to land on in the middle. There's also the snipers in the back and the front of that area. So I am not the best at any of the sword skating stuff or, well, really any of that stuff. But I have learned that there are things that you can take with you that will help you get through a lot of these jumping puzzles, especially in the Whisper, because it's actually not that bad. Everything is very straightforward. There's many times where jumps like what I was using to get through and past some of these little tricky areas would not work. But in the Whisper, because the Whisper has been around for quite a while, movement abilities really help out a lot. Grapple helps out a ton, so definitely bring Grapple. I actually didn't even use Grapple in this. I actually used like Wings of Sacred Dawn and just Heat Rising, just to show that even if you don't have Strand, you can still get through it with even one of the most basic subclasses and just using it to the best of its ability. You can also use Icarus Dash. If you have a Eager Edge sword, that will come in very handy, but a sword in general will help you get through a lot of the jumping puzzle. And beyond that, you really don't have to worry about rushing, depending, again, on what difficulty you make this. This was on a Grandmaster B.5 tier, I believe. So, was trying to get an A tier, but even if I didn't, I was still going to net myself some really good materials, possibly some tier 5 armor because I am over 400 power, but also Ascendant Shards. And Ascendant Shards were really what I was in the market for this run. Now, it's, again, not the easiest thing to do, and you could make it less difficult and still have an opportunity to get Ascendant Shards. I was trying to kind of multitask in this run, so maybe get some better armor or, you know, maybe some power out of it, which, depending on what, again, difficulty you use, you might get more power. So I was really trying to farm a little bit extra power, get some endgame materials, and maybe a few good pieces of armor. And all of that could be done even if I got a B tier on Grandmaster. Now, if I wanted to just select a couple of things, like if I didn't really care that much about power, I might just put it on a lower level difficulty, maybe on Master, or I might make the Grandmaster even easier if I can. I would actually probably just go to Master and try to get a higher level grade, maybe like a C+, or whatever you can get away with that will give you an Ascendant Shard. And you can check that by clicking on the actual tier reward at the bottom of the screen. Once you've put in all your modifiers, click on that. That'll show you your projected score as well as the, I think, score forecast and what is required for a specific score, but also it'll show you all the rewards that you can possibly get. So as soon as you see Ascendant Shards as an available option at the rewards, which they won't always be, you have to be a little bit higher as far as the tier is concerned, you can get them. Now, there'll be a RNG drop on them. Of course, the higher the difficulty you do, the more the chances that you'll get them to drop. But it's the same thing with everything in Destiny. If you're trying to get higher options or a better RNG on any piece of armor, endgame material, or a weapon, for example, you'll always have a better chance on a higher level, or at least a higher level for whatever you're at the time. But that was going to be all the information in today's video. Hopefully you found something in this video helpful. Again, this was just based on topics that I have seen mentioned many times in my comments section, and I thought it could be helpful just to give a brief recap on some of these things, especially because I think a lot of them have changed quite a bit, and you might just not know all the options available to you if you're a new or returning player, or if you're a solo player and you don't have people necessarily guiding you through some of these things. And as far as exotic class items go, I just wanted to put it out there that there will eventually be an opportunity to get exotic class items as a solo player without doing the dual destiny mission in the near future. And I only hope that they actually make those things a little bit more available. I have a feeling that they want to. So let's just see if they actually do the things that they know we want and they've said that they wanted, but haven't found the best way to implement yet. But thanks so much for watching. Once again, I am Wilhelm Scream. Hopefully, again, you found something in this video helpful. If you enjoyed this content, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel and turn on the bell to post notifications so you never miss out on any future Destiny 2 content like this, you can also follow me on Instagram. It'll be linked in the description box down below. Any of those things, also remember, enter you into any future giveaways on this channel. We do one every 1,000 subscribers, so you never want to miss out. And when we reach 100,000 subscribers on the channel, we'll be giving away a new console or a video card if you play on PC. Almost 70% of those who watch regularly are still not subscribed. So if you would like to support the channel, subscribing is the easiest way to do so. And remember, subscribing is free. If you'd like to become a channel member or leave a donation in the channel, that'll get you another bunch of entries into the next giveaway, but also a personal shout out from myself on a future video, as well as a friend request if you're interested in playing with myself one day, or maybe some of the people you've seen in other videos, and maybe find yourself in a video yourself. And once more, I am Wilhelm Scream. Thanks again so much for watching. Hopefully, again, this helped. And once more, we will see you next time.